Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and in case you didn't see the memes ahead of time and the Photoshop fakes, which are, of course, a tradition, May 20th actually was the banned and restricted announcement day. And unfortunately, nothing was banned from Modern or Standard. Now, like I said, although it would appear from the comment section that people didn't catch it the first time, so here it is again, I don't follow Modern. But that's the Pyromancer is really good in this obscure deck from 5 years ago. How could you not know that? One, I probably wasn't playing, and two, I don't care about Modern. Modern's an insult to Magic. It's an overpriced, mismanaged pile of crap and everybody wins on turn 4 or 5. It's a complete waste of everybody's time. Why would I follow it? What's the point? That said, I still want Storm, Ad Nauseam, Lantern Control, and Affinity bare minimum banned. Kitchen Finks, add that to the list. And they say, oh, but format diversity, no, they aren't that oppressive. Well, for every one of those decks, if you removed it, you get 3 other decks in its place. You know, ones that just can't deal with them specifically, so they get pushed out as a realistic option. Pull the trigger, Wizards, just ban them all. Just Thanos snap them bitches out of existence. And Standard is not mentioned in this entire article at all. I actually think they have one line about it and they say, oh, it's so diverse. No. Also, you have the numbers about players playing Arena, or lack thereof. You have the F&M attendance records, which I'm sure are going down the toilet. If you're wondering why, it's because everything's a control-a-thon. Everything's 3-color oppressive, you can't do anything garbage. That means no creativity allowed and only decks that are so fast they don't care about control or are that control-y can play right now, which is boring, stupid, grindy, obnoxious. It's just getting 75% of your crap countered or killed is just annoying. If Magic isn't fun, you don't have customers left. I guess they haven't figured that out yet. So, that said, they did ban 3 cards from a format. And it is a format that was getting a little toxic, but boy is it in better shape than Standard. So, that's questionable. So they have officially banned from Pauper, Gush, Gitaxian Probe, and Daze. And that makes sense. Gitaxian Probe was banned, I think, last year from Modern because it just lets you play with 56 cards, period. And you can spy on your opponent's hand for free and then draw a card to replace it. I mean, that card is ridiculous. That card, quite honestly, never should have been printed. Just a free look at exactly how to disassemble your opponent's strategy. It's beyond words how bad that is. So they finally figured out that it's problematic, although the reason given is not even about hand information, which is hilarious. And honestly, they only about half solved the problem. Delver is the actual problem. But, they didn't want to kill the whole deck because format diversity. Newsflash, nobody wants to see that card ever again. Ever. In any game. In any format. So the state of Pauper right now is pretty bad, but I'll let them explain it, I guess. I mean, what they said in this article is mostly true, unlike most of these announcements. So over the past few months, we've observed a rise in both play rate and win rate of blue-based decks in Pauper, with blue-black Delvers sustaining a plus 55% win rate on Magic Online. Now, I don't know what they mean about plus 55%. That would be 105%. So I guess they don't mean edge or advantage. They mean absolute win rate, which means you shouldn't have a plus sign there. I mean, if it was 49, it wouldn't be negative 49. Anyway, they themselves said that their threshold is 60. They start giving a crap when it has a 60% win rate. 55 is not high enough, so that's odd. So for them to use that exact number as justification is very strange. In the past, we'd seen aggressive decks keeping blue tempo strategies in check to some degree, but with the recent additions of Augur of Bolas and the foil Gush combination, blue decks have continued to pull ahead of the pack. Well, not by much if it's only a 55% edge against the field in general. Blue has long owed its strengths in Pauper to efficient cantrips like Ponder, Preordain, and Brainstorm. 3 of the most toxic cards ever printed in the history of the game. I added that, by the way. And free spells like Gush, Daze, and Gitaxian Probe. Obviously, because free spells just shrink your deck. It's that simple. I mean, like I said, with Gitaxian Probe, you're just playing with 56 cards. That lets combo pieces and important strong cards come up more often, like too often. There's a reason that decks are 60 cards and you're limited to 4 each. And Gitaxian Probe breaks that reason. It's just like Spark Duplicate or Spark Double or whatever the hell in Standard, where you're just violating a base rule of the game that there can't be 2 legendary permanents in play at once that share a name. And surprise, it's becoming problematic. You cannot violate a basic tenet of the game that's there for safety and fairness. So G-Probe's gone. Big shocker there. So after determining we needed to take action to correct Blue's dominance in the metagame, if you would consider 55% dominance, we considered several approaches. Okay, let me just throw this out there. 4-color energy had a 49% win rate against the field at a Grand Prix or Pro Tour or something, probably Grand Prix, I don't know, online, who knows, one of them. They banned it because the second and third games after sideboarding with 4 colors with too many sets legal at once was, I think, 78%, and that was too high. But the base win rate was 49%. So the average round win rate was well above 60. And then they're like, okay, this is out of control. So 55%, I mean, rest in peace, I'm glad to see it go. Blue-black Delver duck and cover control free spell spamming is beyond bullshit. I hate that deck. But by their own standards, 55% is not high enough. But hey, do what you want, whatever. They probably just banned it because people hate the deck, but they don't want to cite that as a precedent that that's a factor. Even though that's half the reason that they got rid of eggs and everybody knows it. So, one approach was to ban one or more of the recent additions introduced by the Master sets, which is Augur of Bolas and Foil, both of which were printed as common for the first time ever. So, I mean, that makes sense. Oh, this is what made the deck a little bit better, so just roll it back. Go back to how things were like a month or two ago. Boom, problem solved. But they're like, no, this deck has been a problem for longer, and they've refused to admit it or do anything about it. So now they're actually tackling the actual problem. It just goes to show how unbelievably mismanaged this game is. Every format across the board. So Augur of Bolas helps shore up the weakness of blue tempo strategies against aggro, because duh, it's a defensive creature, but also appears in a variety of other control and combo decks. Despite this potential splash damage on other archetypes, Augur of Bolas was still on the table for discussion. Foil, while frustrating in combination with Gush, is generally the less powerful and problematic card of the two, which is absolutely true. We determined that if we wanted to break up the combination, Gush would be the card to look at as the more fundamental issue. Pardon me, the fundamental issue is that you didn't ban this deck a year ago. It's not the card Gush, it's you not doing anything about this deck in its entirety earlier. I mean, they're literally admitting, oh, the new addition of these two cards wasn't really what was wrong with this deck the whole time, it's that we didn't ban it, like, early enough. That's what they're saying with this. Well, at least they're being honest in a roundabout way. So we discussed taking action against one or more of the 1-mana cantrips, Ponder, Preordain, and Brainstorm. Let me comment on those for a second in case you're not familiar. Preordain is banned in Modern. Brainstorm never was legal in Modern, but it would be banned in Modern, and it's restricted in Vintage. Ponder is banned in Modern and restricted in Vintage. So to say that these are notoriously unfair, broken, and problematic cards would be an understatement. They're just combo-enabling deck-shrinking garbage. All 3 of them should be banned in every format that exists. And they even go on to say, these are cards that have necessitated bannings and restrictions in other formats with an S over the years. However, we believe that different formats should offer different styles of play. Okay, what style would you guys consider Blue-Black Delver? Yeah, that kind of deck isn't welcome anywhere, and everybody hates it. So, different styles. How about good, friendly, like, fun styles? Is that even on your radar? It's just shocking how incapable these people are at doing their job. Clearly, instead of having their fingers on the pulse of the community, like at the lowest level, not the pro league, like the actual players, actual customers, they just have their fingers up their own asses. But here's where it gets hilarious. Many decks mix and match a combined total of about 8 copies of these 3 cards, so banning just one of them would cause decks to converge on 8 total copies of the other 2, a fairly minimal effect on the strength of those decks. We wanted to determine whether we could address core issues with Blue's power level without removing multiple cantrips that have come to define the format and give it a unique feel. Didn't they just say they were banned in multiple other formats? I mean, they've defined a format and then had to get removed. They did give a, quote, unique feel to other formats. That feeling, of course, being this deck and it's bullshit. I just can't believe they're making statements this dumb. Like, who are they trying to fool with this? We're not this stupid. By the way, they just said, if we banned one, it wouldn't do it. We'd have to ban 2, and that's too many. They just banned 3 cards. Is this ignorance, hypocrisy? What would you even call this at this point? A mental disorder? Cognitive dissonance? Is that what that is? I don't even have words for this. I think that they're just trying to bullshit people is what's going on. So the third category of cards we considered were free spells. Yes, cantrips that cost 1 and arrange your deck, and then just outright free spells. Obviously, free spells would be the priority because, get this, you don't need to pay mana for them. Shocking, I know. Completely and utterly free spells, or with barely any strings attached, it's like it's inherently broken or something. Kind of like casting a creature without paying its mana cost. It's free casting, notoriously broken and proven to be broken over the entire history of Magic, and yet they keep printing it. And then they pulled the same kind of BS. Well, clearly Emrakul's the problem, and like a month later, okay, Marvel is actually the problem. Oh, you mean like 100% of the people playing Magic told you? And you know when people said they're just going to switch to Ulamog and then everybody just switched the deck to Ulamog? Is it actually the case that everybody in the community knows more than these people who get paid to do this full time? To like analyze the game and make these important decisions? I mean, they have a huge history of getting things wrong and banning cards way too late and misreading the meta, misreading what players actually want in order to enjoy the game, spend more time and spend more money on it, which should be obviously the goal, the top priority. Amazing. I mean, at the end of the day, I have to say, banning these 3 cards was a solution. It's just so much of this article is so massively misleading. I can't let them go on this. This is overall a positive move for Pauper, and it solves the problem with this deck to an extent. But wow, just what planet are they living on? Because we're not going to come join them no matter how much they try to convince us. So these spells in combination with 1-mana cantrips give blue decks strong mana efficiency and card flow starting early in the game. Gush and Gitaxian Probe allow players to play fewer lands and replace them with spells, increasing the effectiveness of Augur of Bolas and Delver of Secrets. Delver is the problem. They should have banned that card, by the way. Daze allows these decks to spend more mana casting cantrips to set up their game plan without having shields down moments against other strategies. And as you guys know, Mono Blue and Standard right now, past turn 1, shields don't go down, and that's why everybody hates that damn deck. If you're curious, Terramander's ability not being sorcery speed, that was the problem. They knew that was a problem, but they wanted consistency between the mechanic, the keyword. They didn't want to just make this one sorcery. And that was disastrous. Printing that card on top of Izzet was bad enough, but making it instant speed, that is the problem. Letting people do it during your opponent's end step when they can't do anything to blow up the creature, well, except an instant speed one, but they probably would have tried that during their turn. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. That and the Siren and Dive Down were horrific mistakes. So yeah, having absolutely zero no shields or shields down moments where you might get one of your blue things blown up, you can't have that in any format. In Standard, I've had that deck counter 6 of my attempts to blow up even just one creature in play. 6 of them. 2 per turn for 3 turns. I was literally running a creature kill deck and I lost on like turn 9 and didn't get a single spell to land. That should never, ever, ever happen ever in any format with any deck. So yes, they're completely correct saying that Daze was an enormous problem. Hell, free counter spells are really the problem. That's right up there with creatures that don't cost anything. I should say having expensive creatures not cost anything. Ornithopter mean you still bros. So they go on to say, as we discussed, it became clear that free spells, in addition to being extremely powerful themselves, were also powering up the other cards on the list. Yeah, by making them invincible, because you can protect them with 0 mana open. They are also the category that is most likely to continue to break as new cards are added to the format, similar to how Gush makes foil problematic. Finally, Daze and Gitaxian Probe tend to lead to less interactive gameplay, fewer shields down moments, and less bluffing. That's true. You just steamroll them. You're just like, you can literally show them your hand, and it'll just make them forfeit early. They don't gain anything other than, well, I guess nothing's getting through, and I can't stop this. Cool. By the way, FYI, that's why Delver was the actual problem. Therefore, in order to weaken blue tempo decks without impacting the core cantrip plus Delver of Secrets gameplay, because that would just be tragedy of tragedies, we are banning Gush, Daze, and Gitaxian Probe in Pauper. All 3 of them, because now 3 isn't too many, apparently. We discussed whether some subset of these cards would cause enough impact, but based on our data of Blue's historical strength in Pauper and the web of synergy between cantrips, free spells, and efficient threats, we determined multiple bans were necessary, even though literally 2 paragraphs up 2 was too many. I think they honestly just misspoke in that paragraph, but I'm still going to stick it to them over that. A second topic that's been on our radar is the Monarch mechanic in Pauper. Oh, I heard about this. I don't really care about Pauper, but I heard about this. Our data at present doesn't show decks using the Monarch mechanic as having problematic win rates or a problematic role in the metagame. So in other words, yeah, it's clearly toxic, broken, and awful, and the whole community is complaining about it, but when has that ever made us do anything? Remember the Chain Whirler argument where they're like, but it's going to rotate out in 3 months, so just basically don't play Magic for 3 months. Wow, what a solution. Everybody wants Nexus of Fate and Teferi banned. Everybody. Even people who play it want it banned. And their response is basically, you. They gave the same excuse, actually. They said, we'd rather have rotation take care of problematic cards than a ban because it's a last resort. Well, do you want customers? Do you want them? You can't just say, well, we'll just take a quarter of the year and just write off Magic. Just if you want to quit, if you want to not play, okay, whatever. We didn't need 3 months worth of F&M and arena revenue. Nope. Wizard staff, I am 100% serious. Are you this stupid? Or is there something else going on? Because I have trouble believing that you're that dumb. I mean, look how many tournaments they let the Eldrazi absolutely ruin. Just completely ruined. Like, you literally should have gotten a refund on your travel expenses from Wizards. Those tournaments were disastrous. Then, after they had done that much damage to that many multiple tournaments in a row and that many days of MTGO, then they fixed the problem. They let things go way too far, but their excuse was somewhat valid. It was, let's see if the meta shifts. The meta's been stale as hell forever in Modern. Oh, look, a new deck finally. Everybody loses their minds because wah. You know, I've had my deck for 6 years and dropped $2,000 on it, and now I can't win with it. Boo-hoo. They wanted to see if it would adjust. But my counter to that was, just look at the deck. Look at how fast it is. Do you think anything's going to compete with this? No, it's clearly overpowered. If you can't see that, get a different job. So, like, they had a point, but all things considered, looking at the evidence in the deck list, they did not have a point. So, they have a long history of letting things go way too far. So, 6 months from now, I'll be announcing a bunch of Monarch-related cards getting banned. They've got to let it ruin MTGO and ruin the format for more time, because they just have to piss off their player base even more. And you might say, well, it's better than pissing off the people who just built the deck, who just spent the money on the singles to build it. They're part of the problem. You need to send them a message, and the earlier the better, and the more expensive the better. Oh, a net decker lost money. Oh, world's smallest violin. I don't give a shit. Build your own damn pauper deck. It's supposed to be a fun and cheap format. So anyway, while some feel that Monarch is too high impact, especially against mid-range and control strategies, oh no, boo-hoo, it might disrupt control. That's terrible. It also enables archetypes that may not otherwise exist, like white-red and white-black mid-range decks, which, trust me, the format needs that. That's why, I mean, this is like, from what I've seen, 50% complaining and 50% legitimate complaints. Monarch decks are definitely competitive tier 1, it's just, should they be there? Do they deserve to be there? And considering it shuts down control, I'm going to lean towards yes, but yeah, they were pretty disruptive. So we understand the possibility that weakening blue tempo decks may cause a rise in the popularity of Tron decks. However, we believe that this combination of bans will result in a healthier mix of aggro, tempo, control, combo, and mid-range. I love how they didn't even bother to mention tribal, which is what everybody thinks of when they think of Pauper. Oh, what would have the most synergistic card pool? Oh, like elves, vampires, Merfolk. Cool, that's what I'll build. Nobody does that. Not in competitive Pauper. I was going to build a vampire Pauper deck because I'm like, hey, Pauper cheap, yay, that's my kind of format, looks like fun. And then I looked at some of the overpowered, over-expensive shit that my friends were running. I'm just like, you know what, you. I'll just keep playing Commander, thanks. Because at least most of my friends haven't ruined that format yet. So anyway, blah, 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 5 different formats, yay. They can adjust to balance out each other's populations. We'll continue to monitor the metagame as it evolves in practice, but need to allow time for it to readjust rather than making assumptions about what the results will be, which is true because they are bad at predicting that. And as always, we'll continue to listen to community feedback. That is probably the biggest lie in this entire article. Screen smash warning, because this last part is called No Changes to Other Formats, and they're going to try to justify it. Oh, this'll be fun. Actually, the very last paragraph is very entertaining. Other competitive formats are generally looking healthy at this time. What game are you even looking at? Is it even Magic? Did you make a mistake? Are you looking at like Hearthstone, Force of Will, Pokemon? You clearly are not looking at Modern or Standard. Clearly. Commander, don't even get me started. I mean, technically you guys don't run that ban list, but Standard is in the worst state I've seen it in since Fate Reforged dropped and Ugin decks were hot. Modern is still unplayable except at the casual level. Pauper is still unplayable except at the casual level. So if you say, yeah, but they're talking about like what people really play, not like tier 1. They literally just said other competitive formats, not whatever you play casually. Competitive. So they think the tier 1 of every other format is super good. Okay then, keep living in your denial. And we've determined no need for changes. Well, you're idiots. Esper Control needs to go, Mono Blue needs to go, Red Rush needs to go, and anything with Teferi needs to go. In fact, just Teferi needs to go. And Nexus needs to go. We were happy with the outcome of the Modern portion of Mythic Championship 2. Okay, Do you ever notice how sometimes they cite MTGO statistics, sometimes they cite MTG Arena statistics, and sometimes they cite specific, like top 32 or top 16 of a specific one-time tournament? This time they're using, the modern portion of Mythic Championship 2. Wasn't that like 64 people? I mean, I didn't even watch it. Was it 32? Like, what the hell kind of sample size is that? How scientific is that? You know which decks are going to come out on top? Whatever people brought more often. Hey, how's it looking on MTGO? What do those stats look like? Who gives a shit about Mythic Championship? Oh, and here's a thought. This crazy idea popped into my head. Take a survey of random people who say they play Modern. Ignore what level they say they play at, and ask them if they're happy with certain cards, what cards they want gone, if they're happy to play it, if they're happier than they were a year ago. Actual market research to make sure that your customers are actually happy and actually spending money and time playing the game. Crazy, I know. Or they could just use Mythic Championship 2. Just walk up and ask like one person. Ask Autumn if you can get her to shut up about how much she hates white males and straight people. Just ask just her. Oh, how'd you like this? Oh, pretty good. I did pretty good. Okay, Modern's healthy. Thanks, scientific sample size of 1. And in fact, if you just go to MTGO, Storm is so cheap that more people play it just because of its actual cost than in paper. So you can't even use those stats because they're misrepresented. Last I heard, and this is like 2 years out of date, Storm has triple the prevalence in digital than it's estimated to have in paper. But those numbers are in relation to a Grand Prix, which is only like highly competitive people who want to win prize money. They just keep going to inaccurate stats and inaccurate pools to get their information, and it looks like they just cherry pick one event or one source to say what they want and what they already believe, and then they just double down on it. That's not how data gathering works. It's not even how math works, wizards. If you just took a survey of like 500,000 players that say they play Modern regularly, half of Tier 1 would be Thanos snapped out of existence the next day, just based on the sheer comments of how much people hate half the decks in Modern right now. Tired, old, boring, non-interactive, binary win condition bullshit needs to go, okay? Sincerely, literally everybody in the community. But you go to a GP or you go to Mythic Championship, ask the pros, they want a really easy deck that a chimpanzee could run that wins the same way every time because they don't really have to think. So they're going to feed you a bunch of bullshit about how healthy the format is and how much they love those decks. And you know what? You know what they should be doing? Don't even survey like people on Reddit about like the state of Standard right now. Ask people specifically, go to a really big like marketing survey thing and only look for people who self-report as having quit Magic in the last 2 years, and then ask them why. And then fix it. It's that simple. When you have a problem, you have people leaving, you want to know why they're leaving. It's called an exit survey. That's who you should be concerned about, not what some pro or some 10-year-long player, somebody's been playing MTGO since it came out. You shouldn't be asking those people what they think because who cares? Ask the people who are leaving the game why they're leaving the game and then try to prevent them from leaving the game. And I guarantee it's because standard meta is not fun, F&M isn't fun, and the decks are getting too expensive because the mana base is too expensive because too many colors are too possible. I don't even need to take the survey. I read my comment section. So Wizards really needs to get a clue and fundamentally change how they determine what's kicked out, or better yet, what's not printed in the first place. What's caught during R&D and playtesting as too oppressive, not fun, too control-y, too heavy draw, too good of an engine, too good of a card. You just look at a card and you're like, will this be fun? Disallow? Hell yes, people who run that love it. Phyrexian Obliterator? Maybe not such a fun card to play against. Call me crazy. Scarab God, you literally can't get rid of it. Fantastic. Nexus of Fate, causes the game to go infinite and encourages people to cheat and stack their deck. That might be problematic. It needs to be stopped at that stage. And if it gets past it consistently, hold somebody accountable, ban it, and fire them. Nope, that ain't how Wizards does business. Go to glassdoor.com and type in Wizards of the Coast. You'll find out all about how things are working there. It's wonderful. So the next paragraph is just as good as I told you it would be. We're aware of some concern about combos in Modern based around War of the Spark cards, such as, here's the fun thing, if you want to play along at home, how many cards do you think they're about to name? I'll give you a hint. It's actually one higher than I would have guessed. So we've got Neoform plus Allosaurus Rider. Let me just add to that one. Literally any card like Neoform any kind of birthing pod bullshit, and any card that clearly you would never in your entire life pay the CMC for. Like, what's that one? Like, I think there's a suspend one, and then there's like there's a morph one where you would never ever not pay its morph cost. That thing's broken as hell. Allosaurus Rider costs 7, but nobody in their right mind would ever pay 7 for it. So obviously the CMC isn't a real number. And then Neoform, oops, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost, and then put it directly onto the battlefield. So you just go grab an 8-cost Eldrazi and dominate the game. I mean, that's ridiculous, but that combo requires Neoform to be in your hand and Allosaurus Rider to be in play. Good luck with that. Next, Ugin's Conjurant and Celestial Kirin. Oh no, you can 0-drop it and nuke tokens. You need a 4-cost double white permanent to be in play that isn't even good, and then Ugin's Conjurant to also be in your hand at the same time, and neither one to get countered or blowed up before you can get the combo off. And yeah, you can match like a consistently used CMC, but who cares? If their battlefield consists of mixed CMCs, you can't do anything. So they're very paranoid about that one. That's ridiculous. Maybe like a Spirit Celestial Kirin wipe deck was already too good and this put it over the edge. I don't know. I haven't seen a deck list. The third one, I'll give this one a little more credit than I did the first time. Karn the Great Creator plus Mycosynth Lattice, because Karn can go fetch Mycosynth Lattice directly. So you only need Karn. You don't need both of them to show up in your hand. That said, Karn costs 4 and Mycosynth costs 6, and they both still have to be in play. Now that said, the second it enters play, you win. They can't use their lands anymore. The game's over. But have they banned Boiler Choke or Blood Moon? No, they have not. I mean, you see it coming, pool some mana, blow it up, counter it, blow up Karn before he can go get it. To do this combo one turn, it takes 10 mana. I mean, good luck. Like, unassisted with, spell reduction. So all 3 of them, I don't know about those, but it's just hilarious that there are already 3 problematic combos just from War of the Spark. I mean, there were probably fewer than that in, Aether Revolt. I mean, that in the next couple sets, they tried, like Ashes, Solemnity, Tocatli, none of them really did anything. Nobody bought them or used them. So anyway, they finish up with these wonderful combos with, we've been monitoring the play rates and win rates of these decks, and so far, don't see cause for alarm. Neither do I. It's just funny that many problematic combos came up. With the release of Modern Horizons and Mythic Championship 4 right around the corner, we'll continue to observe the evolution of the modern metagame. Please do not use a tiny little tournament full of douchebags as any kind of determining factor for anything, okay? If your sample size isn't 1,000, don't even look at it. You know, considering you're making decisions on behalf of 10 million players. So, I mean, yeah, this is one big step in the right direction, but if you're asking yourself, Des, when would you ever be happy with a ban and restricted announcement? Never. Never. There are like 50 cards that need to go in multiple formats. Never. I'm never going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy until Standard and Modern are playable again, and that is never going to happen. You would need to gut the staff at Wizards to get that done, and Hasbro is unwilling to do that. Although they are now being sued, so we'll see. That's more product design than R&D, but, you know, whatever. If Hasbro ever secretly goes around Wizards and does a little survey of the player base that says how happy are you with Wizards of the Coast and the state of the product and all that, oh my God. They're going to swap the paper the next day. They're going to fire half the people. They're going to shut down the Twitter accounts of about 75% of the employees. They're going to ban about a dozen cards from Standard, and then they're going to issue an apology. But unfortunately, they let Wizards have way too much autonomy. And they do not care about customer satisfaction at all. At all. Not even a little bit. So yeah, hooray for Pauper. Hooray for the stupid oppressive control bullshit. It's now gone. Yay. If you owned and played that deck, got a special little message for you. My condolences. Just kidding. F*** you. And hopefully they fix Standard at some point. Or, well, they're not going to. We're too close to a rotation. And they have said in the last BNR announcement that they prefer to let rotation get rid of problematic cards instead of a ban. Because a ban's a last resort. So what does that strongly imply? Well, this is clearly broken, but, you know, rotation's right around the corner. So it implies just don't play Magic until rotation. Wasn't that the case around Theros? And then Amonkhet, and then every single rotation ever since I started playing the game. I mean, remember a little card called Thoughtseize? Remember Ugin? Grey Merchant? Is that ringing a bell to anybody? So yeah, I want to see some cards get banned in large quantities, but Well, that's not how they do things. Although they did just triple ban something, so I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of slice of hope, who knows. So let me know what you think about these bans. Do you agree with them? Do you think this is what Pauper needed? Do you think it ruins Pauper? Do you think another deck's going to get out of control because of this? Or are you sad to see this go? In which case, I lied, I don't want to hear from you. Shut the hell up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.